Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting with a piece of pattern paper. This is from Crate Paper and Maggie Holmes. It's the Flea Market 6x6 paper pad. I'm also using the Newton's Nook Naughty Newton stamp set. It's the one with the cat where its claws are kind of scratching at something. So I'm going to start by using my powder tool on my pattern paper because I'm going to be heat embossing this image. I'm heat embossing this with the Hero Arts white embossing powder, and I'm also stamping it with the Versamark ink so that the embossing powder sticks, because the Versamark ink is a clear sticky ink. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that more towards the right hand side of my card. And then I'll go ahead and put my embossing powder on there. This is my favorite white embossing powder. I just find that it works the best. And then I'll go ahead and heat that until the embossing powder is melted. I'm also going to stamp this cat image on a piece of Coordination's 110-pound cardstock because you'll see in a minute what I do, but I'm going to place this over the heat embossed one. So I'm going to color this in with my Copic markers. I'm starting with the C1, which is a really light gray color. I'm going to be coloring this cat in so that it looks like it has some stripes. I know I'm not coloring it in like mine, like a Siamese. I thought I would switch it up and do something a little bit different. So this C1 is just my base color, just coloring in the entire image. And then I'll go in with the C3, which is the next darkest color, or at least the next darkest color I have. I believe there is a C2. But I'm adding little bits of shading in, and I'm also going to be adding in some of the stripes along the edges. I'm just freehanding this. I don't really know. I guess there's not a right or wrong way to how the stripes should look. So I'm just adding a few of them in there. And then I'm also going to go in with the C5 and just add little bits of dark in there. And the dark, when you add it, it's not going to look very good, but trust me, once you blend it, it'll look like it is supposed to look. So then I'm just going back in and blending all of this with the C1. And then you can see how those stripes and darker areas lighten up a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this image out. Alright, you can see I have my cat. I didn't cut the little scratch marks out though. You'll see in a minute how that's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. I die cut this banner from Simon Says Stamp out of a piece of white cardstock. The sentiment I'm using comes in two parts. So I'm stamping the sorry first, and then I'll go ahead and stamp the other part. And I curved that part, which is the nice thing about clear stamps, is that you can curve them to kind of fit where you want them to be stamped. So I'm folding in the banner edges. I always do this after I stamp it just because it's easier to stamp than it's not popping up or anything. Alright, so I have my pattern paper. I'm going to go ahead and rip down the edges where the scratch marks from the cat are. So it's going to look like it scratched and tore like the wallpaper. It's kind of what I was imagining. And then I'm going to fold that little bit over. So I'm going to adhere this pattern paper to my white A2 size card base with a little bit of my ATG gun adhesive. And then just to make sure that that torn paper stays into place, I'm going to go ahead and add a Best Creation 3D foam square. And then I'll just stick that down. That way it's not going to move or anything when it is in an envelope or given to the recipient. So then I'm going to take the cat image and glue that down with a little bit of my multi-matte medium. So the reason that I heat embossed the cat image on there in the first place is so that it would have that scratched look where the little scratch marks are from the cat. And the white embossed cat image does not show through at all because I left a little white border around my colored in image. So to the banner, the two ends I'm adding a little bit of the multi-matte medium. It looks like my bottle is running out a little bit, so I'll have to get a new one soon. And then I'm also adding some 3D foam squares to the back part. And then I can adhere that right down onto the bottom of my card. So I wanted to keep this card pretty simple, but I thought I would add just a little bit of embellishment. I'm going to use this Viva Decor pearl pen. It's a silver. And I'm just going to add a few little dots of pearls along this card. I'm just doing two kind of triangular areas there. One on the right hand side of the cat and one on the left hand side. Alright, and then that is my finished card for today. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys back here next time. Bye!